So on Monday's stream, we had somebody ask for prayer because they were having issues controlling their anger. And as we began talking about it and prayed over them, some interesting conversation came up. And so today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about how to handle your emotions in a biblical way. Hello and welcome to Geek Devotions, the show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I'm Celeste and we're so glad that you have hit play today. Do us a favor, if you don't watch past this point, know that you're loved and you're cared for. There is a plan and a purpose for your life. As always, feel free to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, all the things. Check out our website, all the other stuff that we have going on. But let's get into today's devotion. Like we said, amid the conversation on Monday during the Bible study, a portion of our stream, we were talking about anger and emotions in general. And at the time I mentioned a verse, but I didn't have the reference in my head, so we're going to read it here. Ephesians 4:26 through 27. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and give no opportunity to the devil. This verse is giving us permission to feel angry, to not feel guilty about being angry. There is a misnomer, a myth, whatever you want to call it, that Christians don't get angry. And if that's true, then Christians aren't human. And that's definitely not true. So this verse is letting us know, hey, you can be angry. Just don't sin. Don't take your anger to the point of where you do something that God would be disappointed in you for, that God would be ashamed. So take your anger, feel it, and let go of it before the end of the day. And this truly applies to all emotions. This is not necessarily what it says in Scripture, but you can take this verse and put in any emotion. Be sad, but do not sin. Grieve, but do not sin. Be happy, but do not sin. There are so many things that we can change this out for, and it still is applicable because the Scripture is not necessarily talking about anger. It's talking about not sinning in your emotion. And as believers, this is how we should live our lives. We should feel our emotions because they are gifts of God. We are created in God's image. God has emotions and He deals with them appropriately. And He doesn't sin because He is God. So we are striving to imitate God in that.
Hey guys, Dallas here, jumping in with a quick editor's note. I want to be able to clarify some things that Celeste has said. What she's talking about is specifically about, yes, don't be afraid to experience these emotions. These are normal things that are in your life, but we're not saying that you don't need to develop self-control. We're not saying that these emotions that you have right now don't need to be able to be brought into submission unto Christ. That is something that you have to do. But don't live in the guilt and the shame of having emotions pop up. That happens. It's okay. Just learn to deal with them appropriately. And that's kind of the main crux of what Celeste is dealing with. And like she said, this is not just about anger, although the passage itself is specifically dealing with that, but it goes beyond that with every form of emotion that you have, whether it be joy, grief, or anything else. If you do it to excess, if you don't allow it to be in the submission to Christ, it can become sinful and it can become a problem, and you have to handle that appropriately. Okay, back to Celeste.
Now, the other side of this is, as believers, while we strive to do this for ourselves, we also strive to create space for people to do that. Many times, Dallas and I have been asked, why do you do what you do? Recently, we had someone who goes, why are y'all so kind and so loving when I've done nothing to deserve it? And we shared that it was because of God's love. We're not doing the things. We're just allowing ourselves to be used with God's love. And it's because we create a space for people to be angry, to be upset, to be hurt, and to know that they're still loved. They're still cared for. And God still has a plan and a purpose for their life. So while our tagline is that we are devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved, part of letting people know that they are loved is allowing them to have the space to be upset, to be happy, to be sad, to be worried. All of these things are things that God has put in us. And as long as we do them without sinning, without taking it to the point of where it becomes sin, releasing it and letting God handle whatever it is, be it anger, be it grief, be it sadness and depression, that we give it to God at the end of the day, preferably before the end of the day, but you know what I mean. That's what we do. And so as believers, we need to create space for others to have those feelings around us and use that as an opportunity to point them back to God, even if it's just saying, man, I'm so sorry that's happening to you. Or I'm praying for you. Or let me just sit here with you in this moment. And so you know that you're not alone. Okay, guys, that was your devotion for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a really good conversation in the stream about anger and dealing with anger and dealing with not letting your anger go too far. It was just a really good moment, and God really moved through that. It's one of the things. If you're not hanging out in our streams, you're missing stuff. Things are happening. God is using us in these streams to reach people. And if you're there, you can be a part. God can reach you, or God can use you to reach others. So I hope I see you Monday. Also, don't forget to check out the website. And all of this is thanks to our devoted Patreon geeks, who without them, we wouldn't be able to do things as well as we do them. I don't know if any of you have gone back and watched the stuff that we started out with, but we've upgraded a lot, and it's because of amazing people who are devoting as little as $1 a month to help us do what we do. Okay, guys, all that being said, stay devoted. Peace and love.